So we're here on day 2 because yesterday our multimeter didn't want to work. So we're in the middle of biasing the amp, biasing the amp. Biasing?
No, we're trying to do get the amp to get to its correct bias setting. It's supposed to be 100 milliamps. It's being a bit of a pain in the butt though. Yeah, just so you guys can see, the actual bias adjuster is that right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It's right here. This is what actually lets you set the bias and slide it up and down depending on what the setting is that you need to get it at. Now that is what we're trying to adjust, and that's what we're trying to get right. I'm going to try and get it to read correctly. Once we know that it's reading correctly, we'll be back and we'll finish showing how to do it and then closing it back up. Now I just want to give note to the tube setup that we put in. One of the ones was specifically the one for the gain channel for the clean channel, which was the EH12AY. The reason why I picked that one was because it has half the gain of a regular 12ATX or 12AX7. There we go. And the reason is exactly for this reason. Even at high volume, the clean channel, it takes a lot for it to distort, which is what we wanted, which is really the best way to get a really good clean sound is to not let the amp overdrive the clean. So that's what we got in this one. Is a clean channel that'll really shine instead of breaking up at a high volume.
It's probably distorted for you guys anyways.
All right. What we
where
really
the standby switches and all that.
The pins for the standby switch are right here. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you open up the amp. Let's put this on standby so we don't melt our faces off. The pins are right here. What you want to do is you want to take your digital multimeter, which is on the other side of the table. Elvis, can you please ask me that? Sam, actually,
let's not use our real names here. We need to use aliases.
Well, you gotta be famous. His real name is not Elvis. We just call him that.
And I don't work for JetBlue.
Right. So basically, what you want to do is you want to take the pins of the multimeter, and you want to just touch the plugs. Don't worry if it does that. If it does that spark. Reason is because you have to have your multimeter set. This is Elvis's really cool fluke meter. I don't know why they call it fluke, but whatever. You want to have it in the amp setting, so that you want to pick up you want to read the milliamps now.
In AC current.
In AC current. Thank you, Elvis. The other thing too is this meter doesn't meter milliamps, so you have to just know that it's 0.1 amps. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's different from one V3 to the next. It might be because even as factory as these things can be, they can be really different from model to model. So while you're reading the meter, you want to adjust this right here, which we pointed at earlier. It's basically it's a round kind of slide switch, and you kind of just move it up and down until you get the correct reading. Once you have the right reading, you can turn it on and test it out. You won't have the problems that happen when you have an unbiased amp, which is like just sound inconsistencies and problems with the amp itself. You'll get the actual sound that we're getting right now, which is actually really good distorted when it's supposed to be, and clean where it's supposed to be clean. Yeah, we went from a GT EL34 to a 6L6 tube, which if we turn it around, we can see the difference in the size of the tube. This is the SED 6L6 and this is the EL34. Makes a really big difference when it comes to driving really loud sound. It really does.
The difference of professional to amateur.
Yeah. To whatever tubes you have. If you see here, you have to select whether you're going to replace it with EL34.
Yeah, that's very important.
Or with 6L6. It's very important because if you don't switch that when you swap the tubes,
you were going to blow something up.
You will melt your amp, literally. the heating difference of the elements between the two types of tubes is very significant. And then of course you want to do the biasing on the full 100 watts with the 4 tubes on. And you want to always make sure that you plug it in to a speaker, to a cabinet that matches the ohms of the cabinet. Putting the wrong resistance can cause a lot of issues, including the death of either the amp or the or the cabinet or both.
And I need to make a correction. On part 1, I said that they didn't label.
Yes, they actually
They did. It's right here.
Yeah, it's along the edge.
It's along the edge. We were just looking for it on top.
Yeah.
Put this bad boy back together.
Yeah, we're gonna put it back together, and then we're gonna show it in its awesome glory. And I'm gonna donate to Sam some black lights for inside the amp.